It is currently 8:15 at night. And the reason I even have my phone out recording this video is because as I was sitting back there on my PC working, it just hit me all at once and occurred to me why most people fail in business, why most people never start a business. And it's because the things that people are sold, and I mean, this is something I've always known, but for some reason it just hit me that somebody out there needs to see this video. The way that business is actually sold to most people is get rich quick. It's easy. Anybody can do it. And that can all be true. That could happen. But that's not always the case. In majority of the time, that doesn't happen. And the reason it doesn't happen is because, for me, if you don't know who I am, my name is Gage. I run a TikTok shop agency. I run a Discord community teaching creators how they can make money with TikTok. I scale brands on TikTok with the creators that I teach. I have a million different job descriptions, but that's kind of the gist of what I do. You know, I'm on sales calls all the time. I'm trying to manage a team of managers. I do a bunch of different things, but that's what comes with owning a business. And most people, and I didn't know this when I first started this company, a year ago this month, I didn't know that I was going to have to do all those things. I thought that I was just going to teach the skill that I knew, and people would pay me for it, and that was it. But it never actually turns out to be what you think in your mind, I guess. Things don't always go as planned. And the amount of work that I'm doing now is 10 times what I was doing a year ago before I ever started. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't come with its perks and its benefits, because I love what I'm doing now. I've got my office right here. We have a lot of people running campaigns, and we're making a lot of people a lot of money. And I would say that's probably the one thing that I love to do, and that's to make other people money while also making myself a lot of money. There's just something about being able to pay somebody and send somebody a huge wire, or helping somebody make their first dollar online that never even thought it was possible. That's just like a fulfillment, I guess, for me, teaching people how to do that. But the reason I want to make this video is because if I would have known all of those things that I just told you, I still would have started doing what I'm doing now. Nothing would have changed. I still would have started the business. Me and my co-founder's not here, but I still would have done everything the exact same way. And I don't know if that's just my personality, because I know most people would not do what I do. The delayed gratification you get in business, at least for me in my experience, you have to be able to handle that. You have to be able to do hours and hours and hours of work that nobody else sees. And then on top of that, not get paid directly for you doing that work. That doesn't mean that it's not, it doesn't have some type of factor in why you're getting paid or indirectly helping you get paid. But it's not like a normal job. And I think most people are programmed to want to do something and get paid for it directly after they do it. And I think a lot of people could not own a business because of the delayed gratification. That's one. My tripod died. I guess I'll just sit here like I'm vlogging. Anyway, delayed gratification is one reason I think most people could not own a business. Another thing would be having the different skill sets you have to have. Now, this is different from business to business. Like for me, for instance, like I said earlier, I'm a salesperson in my company. I do operation with certain campaigns. I'm the one sending out invoices. I'm the one making announcements in my community. I'm the one that just does all these different things. I'm the one that makes content. So there's a million different skills that if I was really, really good at, or I didn't have to focus on doing all these different things, I could just do one thing. And that's really, I think, one thing that I need to get better at would be understanding that if I just got really good and I just focused in on one thing, whether it's the best salesperson, whether it's best operational manager, or whatever it is, best at content, then I would get really good at that. But I can't. Now, I could outsource it, but I don't believe that if there was other people that could do what I do, then how valuable is my business? So that's one reason I don't like to outsource. Now, invoices and sending things like that to the brand, contracts, all that, I could outsource that. But the time it takes me to create the invoice, I'll just do it and save the money. But anyway, I just went on a rant. I think that's another reason most people don't have the skill set to be able to do certain things. And I didn't at first. I didn't know how to do all the things I know now when I first started. But I got better. I learned. I took criticism well. And I made it happen. I would say the last thing I would say would be perseverance. I would say most people give up. And I probably would have given up. Because if you don't know much about my background before I started doing this, I started TikTok in 2020, hit like one major viral video, got 10 million views, and then every single video after that, million views, 5 million views, 3 million views. Me and my high school friend was really good at going viral on TikTok back in 2020, and we gained 250,000 followers on TikTok in like a very short time frame, like a couple months. Quit posting on TikTok, went to barber school, become a barber, was cutting hair for a while, and then started doing this, got back into the game of TikTok. But whenever I got back into the game of TikTok, me and my business partner decided to move to Miami for a little bit over 3 months to pursue doing this. There wasn't very many people that was doing it. There was training creators, teaching them how they could make money with TikTok Shop because it was such a new market. Started doing that. Once we'd hit down in Miami, we had a really nice place. It was very expensive, but it was worth it in our eyes for marketing purposes and to get more people in the server, get more people that kind of wanted to be a part of what we were building. And when I was in Miami, that's when I realized, wow, I do not know as much as I think or thought that I knew. And I learned the hard way. We were running flash sales, promo codes, letting people in our server for like $1. A lot of mistakes and things that I would never make now. But starting something when you're not the best at it is hard for a lot of people, because when you start something, obviously you're not going to be good at it. And that's why most people don't start doing something, because they're not good, and people enjoy things that they're good at. But if I was not in Miami, because at the time I was cutting hair before I went to Miami, if I was not in Miami, I probably would have went back to cutting hair, because I had people text me every single day. Everybody in my community knew me as the barber. If they needed a haircut, they would let me know. I'd cut their hair. I was making good money, but I knew that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And moving to Miami, getting out of the hometown for a few months, seeing the money that's out there, kept me grounded. And instead of trying to, go backwards, back to where I was starting from, I had no choice but to stick it out and just go through it and go through the wall, or the imaginary wall. But now, because of that reason, all the pain and suffering, all the late nights whenever we were in Miami has paid off. We are now a TikTok shop agency, partnered with TikTok. I've talked to, or the business has worked with the biggest brands on TikTok. You can think of Goalie, you can think of like Dude Wipes, Physician's Choice, and like a bunch of other brands. But I've had the opportunity to talk to billionaires, talk to millionaires, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't stick through it and try to build something that I knew I wanted to build, I guess. I don't even know how I'd put that in words. But the moral of the story is, the reason I'm even making this little rant video is to tell you that if you're somebody out there that is not happy with where they are, you know you deserve more in your life, you know you're destined for more in your life, you know you have certain skills that people would pay you to do, but you're stuck at your 9-to-5 job, you're not happy with the income you're making, then my suggestion to you would be figure out, if you're somebody that wants to be able to take weekends off, if you're somebody that wants to be able to do whatever he wants or wants to have the freedom. Now, not to say I don't have the freedom. If I don't want to come to work, I don't have to come to work. But if I don't come to work, everything fails. Not everything, but things aren't getting done to move the business forward. Every single day in business, when you lay your head down on your pillow, if you really care about your business, this is just me, when you lay your head down on your pillow, you ask yourself, did I move the business forward? Yes or no? And you want as many days or as many nights that you lay your head on your pillow to be yes. Of course, you want your business to move forward. But you're going to have some days where that's going to be no. I stayed stagnant. I focused too much on this one problem, and suffered somewhere else. And the hardest thing I think for me whenever I first started was knowing and figuring out where to put my effort and time and where I should allocate most of my time towards. Because in business, you have a million different sectors that will all, slowly move the business forward. One day you focus on this, one day you focus on this, or 1 week you focus on this. But when you focus on one thing, this over here, if you don't have a team, can slowly slack. And then you got to go back and focus and kind of hold that up. But that was my biggest problem whenever I first started a business, or first started the business that I own now, was figuring out and making sure that every night I laid my head on my pillow, I knew that I did everything I could to move my business forward. And if I just want to take a day off, or I don't feel like coming into the office, then that ain't moving the business forward. And that's really what drives me every day, is to move the business forward, to make sure people are getting paid. There's so many people that rely on me for their paycheck that I can't just give up. If I don't come into work and give up, I'm not just giving up on me, I'm giving up on a lot of people. So that's my rant. If you're thinking about starting a business, make sure you take everything into consideration, because when I started, I was 22 years old and I did not know what I was getting myself into. Thought I did, but I didn't. Would I change anything? Absolutely not. I already said that. I would not change anything. I would highly recommend, if you are somebody out there who does not know what personality type they are, something that helped me was taking the Myers-Briggs indicator, I think is how you pronounce it, personality type test. Because it's basically telling you everything about the way that you frame things, the way that your brain processes ideas. For me, I'm an ENTP, so that means that I like to debate. That's what they call it, the debater. I challenge a lot of things. I'm a creative person. Um, I'm I don't know, charismatic was one of them. I do remember that one. But I'm a bunch of different things. But all the problems, it'll show the positive just like anything. But when there's positive, there's usually a negative. Push and a pull. A lot of the negatives were things that I really do face and struggle with in business. One of them being, you have this great idea, but as far as implementing the idea, that's the part that is hard for ENTPs to follow through and do. But knowing my personality type helped me kind of control it and make sure that I didn't just fall into the stereotypical personality. But that's a little cheat code if you're somebody who's thinking about starting a business. Learn your personality. Got some creators behind me on the wall of fame. Doing a little bit of renovating in the office right now. But I'm gonna walk back here to my setup. I'm gonna sit down. I'm probably not gonna leave the office until, who knows, probably 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, because there's always something that needs to be done. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you like listening to me rant, and peace out, people.